Testing, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure if you youngsters can hear me because, as we all know, for those of you that have watched the other shows, I'm constantly plagued with technical difficulties. Technology is still difficult for a dragon to use. Here, let me wave to the camera a little bit. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you hear all of this nonsense that I am babbling on about? It says, yes, I can hear, yes, no, something, dragon, tickle, pang on more, wine socket, yes, okay. It seems that we are all ready to go. For once, it actually cooperated with me. This is good news. This is a good sign, especially on the weekend before one of the world's actually the world's largest gathering of furry creatures, such as foxes, wolves, and bears and lions, tigers, oh my, and all that. I don't count us dragons. We are in our own little category of dragons because, well, FYIAD, that's why. If you don't know what that means, ask a dragon in the chat. Let's see if I can move this up a little bit. I think that looks a lot better. Yes, it does. You might also notice that I'm in somewhat of a different setting right now. The reason being that I've had to sort of burrow deeper into my den because, well, frankly, it's quite hot right now in Canada in the summertime. I'm not sure what is going on with the weather systems here, but I thought Canada was supposed to be some sort of frozen wasteland year round where you really only had 4 months, the four seasons, pardon me, the 4 seasons being winter and just about winter and just about entering winter and construction. Those were the 4 seasons of Canada, if I were to understand it correctly. But right now it's just unbearably hot outside, and a dragon had to escape down into the sort of more cooler abode of wherever this house or den is. I'm actually not quite sure whose house this is. Don't tell whoever it is. But yes, I had to find some sort of cooler place to do this show. So, well, at least these new digs have a lovely painting over there of another fellow dragon. So I have a very majestic and regal white dragon sort of keeping sentry over my cellars because, well, every single dragon I employ, from Xiaolong Bao to my big brother, I always end up losing my wine and sake one way or another. So hopefully this dragon over here does a little bit of a better job watching my cellars, and that door over there is most definitely not my cellar. Of course it's not. Anyhow, now with that little ramble out of the way, I can formally introduce myself and the show. So, greetings to all of you once again. My name is the ever-irritable god of the skies, Tien. I am your host for the show, which is the Grumpystream, what you're watching right now. And, well, this show, I basically just talk a lot, and I drink a lot, and I talk a little bit more, and I drink a little bit more. And then I draw some terrible things for people that throw their money at me for some reason, and then I give it to them, and then I drink and talk a little bit more until I decided I've gone to Thursday, and then, well, things happen off camera that probably shouldn't be talked about. But anyhow, yes, this is the Grumpystream, and it is the Grumpystream before Anthrocon, as many of you may have noticed in the name of the actual show itself. Anthrocon is upon us. Anthrocon, the world's largest furry convention held in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania every year. And it is home of many of some of the greatest moments in the history of our community, such as the charity work that the convention has held, hundreds of thousands of dollars raised for numerous animal charities all across the nation and in Pittsburgh, and things such as the fursuit parade, drawing crowds of thousands outside, which I shall be taking a part of again this year, and just numerous stories, countless stories of the joy and the elation that happens in Pittsburgh every year. So Anthrocon is upon us once again, the 20th anniversary, and with such a suitable theme as well, a suiting theme, I should say, the Roaring Twenties. An era of, well, pretty much the exact same thing. A lot of joy, a lot of exhilaration, a lot of just a lot of things ramping up and speeding up. But one thing that I don't enjoy about that particular theme is the entire thing about prohibition. When I heard that, I was just like, nope, 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 not doing it. And then I learned that furries really don't care and we ruin everything, including prohibition. So I said everything is okay because I still get to drink. So, on that topic of Anthrocon, I want to see right now who here is actually going to Anthrocon, since that is basically the entire topic of the night for me, amongst other things. Who here is going to Anthrocon? I want to see my computer screen over here blow up with words of stuff and then here Hamsaplo. I see you. Here's Anthrocon. Yes, no, I ain't. I'm not me. I am. So it seems that there's a collection of both sides happening right now. It's like yes, no, stay, leave, stay, leave, stay, leave, and then well, stuff like that. For those of you that are going to Anthrocon, well, of course you shall see me there, and I hope that you do come and, well, at least say hi to a celestial dragon, or, buy me a drink or 2 or 10. Just pretty please, I'll make it worth your while, I promise. And for those of you that aren't going to Anthrocon, well, that is quite all right. You are no less in any of our eyes, and we hope to see you at the next convention. But that does mean you also owe me twice. You owe me twice the drinks, so keep that in mind. So yes, I shall be at Anthrocon, and things are happening. Lots of things are happening. Things are actually happening right now as we speak. To my knowledge right now, the Anthrocon chairman, Uncle Kage, you all know him very well, as do I. He is working on putting together the final touches of the convention as we speak, and he's got a veritable army of volunteers that are helping all over the nation right now in putting all the little pieces of the puzzle together for next week's big event. And I think my human as well. My human was also sort of losing his mind earlier, and then he tried to go into the sake cellar to calm himself, and he seems to have gotten lost in there. So I won't mind that. If you hear screaming from that door, those are not the bodies. I'm telling you right now, those are not the bodies. I am not accountable for anything. Anyhow, yes, lots of things happening at Anthrocon. I shall be there, as I said. What else is happening? I will go there, and I will find somewhere to sit down and drink. Yes, that is what I am doing. I am going to Anthrocon. I am going to find a nice, quiet place to sit, and I am going to drink. That's the whole convention for me. Yes, opening ceremonies, closing ceremonies, it all takes their place there at the bar counter, and then it's like drink, 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 boom, goodbye, done. See you next year. If only it were that simple. But I will have some company. My big brother, for those of you that do see him in the chat, he's somewhere hidden. He's sort of just hiding in the chat there somewhere. It's right now about 6:07 a.m. in Singapore where he is, and I can imagine that he's exhausted right now, as many of you are watching from afar. But I don't want to keep you up all too late, so, well, in that sense, perhaps it might be just a tiny bit of a shorter show, but I didn't want to keep all of you, well, out of your fill of grumpiness and die for the month. So, yes, Steelwolf says, keep eyes open for Tien dancing again. Ah, yes, that is right, I do plan to be in Anthrocon's Masquerade this year, and for those of you that have seen the videos or were there last year, I had performed a martial arts routine on stage, and, well, it seemed to have gone all right. The second performance in the Masquerade, the first one was at Anthrocon tonight. The second performance was a little shaky, seeing as how I had already tired myself and my old body out the previous night before. So, with only one show this year that I am able to do, I will be putting my 100% effort into that instead. So, if you are going to Anthrocon and you will be watching the Masquerade, I highly suggest that you save that camera battery for when you see this old grump go out and break his back once more. I will try to make it worth your while, I promise. Although it does seem, this is actually very interesting, it does seem that this year there are more than just one beast on the stage that will be performing martial arts. I actually watched a video earlier today of a Japanese furry who was demonstrating their martial arts, and well, I mean, it's the Japanese. Like these are like these are the Gojiras. They're like the and these are like the kung fu karate, like the and these are the ninjas. And I'm thinking like, oh my goodness, I'm going to get myself shown up by a youngster. If only I had some sakes to help alleviate this bad back of mine and all of these sore, aching muscles, so that I may even look decent upon that stage. I wouldn't to know a certain bug there who might have some sake that he could spare, so an old dragon could perform better, would I now? Anyhow, just getting a little carried away there. Speaking of things to drink, I haven't had anything to wet my throat yet, which is a little bit of a problem because, well, that's how this stream is fueled. It is not actually fueled on Grumpy, it's fueled on Saki. But I'm reluctant to change the name to Saki Stream because, quite frankly, I don't have enough Saki to keep that going. So, I shall start off, meeny, mighty, mo, should the Britain leave EU. Anyways, I'm going to choose this one. Yes. It's quite a small bottle. It's small there, but it's big somewhere. Anyways, yes, I shall be starting off the evening, I should say, with a bottle of Tentaka Tokubetsu Janmai. Tentaka Tokubetsu, which roughly translates to hot in the heavens. I hear some noises right now happening in the den upstairs. Perhaps it is the inhabitants of the house right now that are returning. I'm not sure what that sound was. This is irksome right now. I wanted to break this bottle open and show it the love and the affection that it deserves and all the. Anyhow, yes, very indecent. No one saw that. Anyhow, I shall put this down over here for now, and I'm going to beg for your forgiveness as I do something very, very uncommon in this stream, and I'm actually going to take a very quick intermission while I figure out what the heck was that noise that I just heard. If you'll excuse me for a little moment, sorry about that, folks. I promise I shall be back in just a few moments. Apologies for that. I had to take care of a human that had walked into this nest that I am currently taking shelter in. I promise you that cellar over there isn't full or any more full. Yes, I most definitely got rid of the body. Anyhow, there should not be any more interruptions for the rest of the show. Where were we now? Ah, yes, the Tentaka Tokubetsu Junmai, the Hawk of the Heavens, and its pure, clean Saki taste with its Junmai sort of classification, and its very smooth, refreshing palate as it slides. I should open this right now. Yes, I should. As they always say, this is a tip again that I've shared in the past, but it's worth reiterating again. When you're drinking and, well, you are sort of limited on options, go with the best stuff first and then slowly work your way down, because as you start drinking, the quality of each consecutive drink starts to go down and you really won't care anymore. So, for example, if you've got one bottle of good sake, as I have, and one bottle of not so good but manageable sake, start with the really good stuff first, then you'll work your way down. It'll be much better, more worth your money, I guarantee. And as always, we have my good friend here, my fabulously pink neon straw, my fabulously Tien long suited straw, and as always, it's drunk. It just fell down to the floor again. All right, let me pour this first, and I'll go fetch the drunken straw. As you can see, it's quite clear in color, which is a good sign. Every Junmai should be clear in color. If the Junmai that you are drinking is a sort of, urine color or anything that is not sort of pure or transparent, it doesn't have to be completely transparent, but mostly transparent, then you probably don't want to drink that Junmai. Junmais should be nice and clear, and they should also have this sort of very faint but distinct aroma of polished rice grain to it. And it looks very, very good so far. It's not too yellow. It is quite transparent, which is a good sign. So, cheers to you all. For those of you going to Anthrocon, I hope to have the opportunity to raise a toast to you in person. So, cheers to all of you, whether you'll be at Anthrocon or not. Kanbei, Yum Ting, and Chickle Pangbo and all that. That is delicious. Oh, goodness gracious. That is absolutely exquisite. I'll have to look for this back on the shelves, but next time I have a Grumpystream. Oh, that was negative. To borrow a term that I've heard from Uncle Kage, that was negative suckage. Yes, it was negative suckage. But then I shall replace that with positive suckage as I positively suck on this straw so I can drink more of the sake, because that was really good. Positive suckage indeed. Positive suckage. All right. Now that I've balanced out the positive suckage with the negative suckage, I'm going to put my fabulously pink straw inside the bottle now. That made me feel most definitely more relaxed, so much so that I could even recline on this little couch that I am sitting on right now. So this is Tianlong's off day right now. This is his pre-Anthrocon relaxation period. So normally you don't see me reclining or looking like one of your French girls or being painted like one of your French girls. If you really want to be painted like one of your French girls, you're going to end up like that guy. This guy over here, he clearly wanted to be painted like one of his French girls, and well, that's where he is right now. That's how he ended up. Do you really want to be ending up like one of your French girls up there? I think most definitely not. I would not look good as a French girl. I don't think all dragons have ever been drawn as French girls, so please do not attempt to draw me as a French girl. I'm not giving any of you ideas. I'm just simply stating facts. But let's see if anyone has anything to say for an old dragon right now. An old dragon that is enjoying a wonderful, wonderful Tokubetsu Chanmai sake right now. Everything right now is about, oh, Tien, you're cute. Oh my, oh my, oh my. That's all I'm seeing right now is Apparently, George Takei has invaded this chat right now, and it's all like, oh my, and all that sort of stuff. Ah. Well, since everyone is preoccupied with an old dragon, you all have terrible taste, by the way. Old dragons are not good taste. So since everyone's occupied with old dragons right now, I might as well continue musing over Anthrocon and some of the things that you might see a dragon doing at Anthrocon. Hmm. Well, as I mentioned earlier, one of Anthrocon's biggest highlights, and literally one of its biggest highlights, is the parade that happens outdoors on Saturdays. So, as many of you saw and were witness to, or even a part of last year, the parade at Anthrocon happened on Saturday afternoon, and for the very first time, Anthrocon had invited the city of Pittsburgh to watch the parade. As we all know, the city of Pittsburgh, Anthrocon's home, has been very generous and kind to our furry community for the past about 10 years, 11 years, I think, at this point, but 10 or 11 years. And, well, we wanted to give back and show them what the magic really was about. And, well, the story goes is that Uncle Kage had wanted to do this actually for a while, but in particular last year, he had basically taken the gloves off, as one might say, and got things done. He took care of business, to cut all the details short, and we were only expecting about maybe 100, 200 people if we were lucky to attend the parade. I myself had been in Pittsburgh a few months before Anthrocon last year. He and I had walked the parade route together, and all that time I was thinking to myself, is this even possible? How can something of this caliber even happen? This is ridiculous. I was hoping that there would be some miracle that happened, but well, it seemed just impractical. It seemed like some sort of faraway fantasy where we lived in a world where furries and humans could coexist peacefully and in harmony, and some sort of cheesy anime intro like that. But, however, the day came. The day came last year, and it was absolutely marvelous. I remember being at the front of the parade along with many others, including the San Diego Chicken and Yappy Fox and my big brother, and we went down that escalator in the parade, and I could not see a thing because the outside light was blinding. So as soon as I stepped off the bottom of the escalator and through the doors, I heard the door sigh very excitedly ushering me through. And I had no idea why. I thought, I was being ushered into like a gladiator pit, a fight to the death or something of the sort. And well, it was apparently something like that, because as soon as I took one foot out that door, all I heard were the ravenous screams of thousands of bloodthirsty, violence-loving, children-eating, furry-abolishing fans. And well, it wasn't really that extreme, and they were just absolutely wild. The city literally came alive with Pittsburgh's love and support for the convention. And I walked through that door, and I was holding my staff, and I was all Tien Long, and yes, regal celestial dragon, and all that. But as soon as I took that first step outside, and I heard the screams, the delighted screams of fans, I was thinking to myself, the fuck? Wait, the fuck? Huh? And it just befuddled me, to borrow a British term. It befuddled me completely that we had received such an outpouring of support and such a positive reaction from literally thousands of people who had come from all areas of Pittsburgh just to watch the parade. And I remember I lost my shit, to borrow a term from the youngsters. Yes, I lost my shit, not literal shit. Figurative shit. Yes, if you could figurative a shit, that is what I lost. I lost it somewhere in the figure. Anyhow, yes, and it was just all of a sudden it was like, yes, look at me, hello humans, hello mortals, hello tiny little people that look good on my breakfast plate, hello, hello, hello. And then I started twirling my staff and doing all sorts of kung fu-y things, and breaking my back once more for the children and all that, and the crowd kept on screaming and screaming, and they wanted more blood, more dragons, more. And honestly, it was just another experience. And when I got back, when I ended the parade, half of the parade hadn't even gone out to experience that yet. And I thought to myself, oh goodness, I could just so easily slip back into that parade and look upon that feast of humans, that sea of humans, just ripe for a dragon's taking. But perhaps again, this year Anthrocon is doing another parade again outside, and it is only a week away, so I will have another opportunity for that. And for those of you going to Anthrocon and, well, occasionally dress up as a big fuzzy animal, I hope that you also have that same experience as well. For let me tell you, it is absolutely nothing compared to. There's nothing compared. Absolutely nothing can compare is what I meant to say. Goodness, how do I English? I'm not sure. But yes, absolutely nothing can compare to that shining light of heaven as you walk through that door. And it's like, oh, goodness gracious, I am going to eat all of these humans. And it's like, oh, look, that one's adorable. I'm not going to eat that one. These are the thoughts of a dragon. You see, dragons and humans and, eating princesses and all that. It's sort of inherited. We celestial dragons, we try to keep it at bay because, again, we try to appear more dignified, more manners, more chivalrous than our other more bloodthirsty counterparts. Well, of course, we're just all chickle-pagmos at the end of the day. Anyhow, that was a very long mouthful, and that was just for the parade. I won't even begin to talk about the Masquerade this year, or the events that I know are happening. There are many that are happening, and I hope that I see you at all of them as well. I will be attending quite a few, such as, the dance competition, perhaps, and I've been asked once again to do that whole floor wars thing, so perhaps you'll see my human pet there. But there are many places that I will be, and I hope to see each and every one of you there. Now, let's see if the chat is a little bit more, well, a little bit more responsive in terms of the questions. Otherwise, as you know, it's just a dragon keeps on drinking and I keep on rambling, and then you all get to watch an old dragon ramble and relax and put his arms behind his head and lay back like one of your French girls. Please don't draw me like one of your French girls. Please do not. Oh, goodness. This is quite comfy. I don't know why I don't do all of my shows like this. This is quite comfy indeed. It's like I can just lay around and be this limp noodle. See, this is what a limp noodle looks like. Yes, that right there is a limp noodle. That is Friday morning. We all know what Thursday implies, so that right there is the Friday morning. And, I mean, I could consider it Friday morning, but I don't want to end the show that early on. Plus, my glass is not empty. My bottles aren't empty. Tien, how was Britain? Tetris Wolf, I shall tell you. Britain was too goddamn expensive. And, well, if I may say so right now, how was Britain? Well, Britain was well, and right now, not so much. I'll leave it at that. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, well, I was in Britain last month for Confuzzled, as well as just touring around the city of London. It's a good thing I left it intact, otherwise they might be in a worse off position than they actually are in right now. I don't talk about those human politics here on my show. They absolutely bore me and make for a very boring show. So I just talk about my own experiences. If you asked me about how Confuzzled was, that was it was a quaint convention. It was a very quaint but pleasant convention. Let's see. Tien, moon the camera, I dare you. No thank you. I know that you're trying to get me to do that whole dragon bum fun nonsense and all that. No, we have proper company here. If you didn't see in the chat earlier, we have a proper lady here. Grandma Kage, Uncle Kage's dear and sainted mother, to use his words, is now a regular viewer of the Grumpystream, and I would like to present it in a very, very formal manner, not in the rude chickle-pang-more manner that I usually do. Alright, let's see. Sharp asks, Tien, if you can travel anywhere in the world, where would you like to go? That's a very, very interesting question, as myself as a dragon, we are travelers. Naturally, dragons travel everywhere. We fly, we walk, we stomp, we trample through, we take any means of transportation in order to travel, because that is the entire nature of why dragons can, or at least for me, used to fly. If I could travel anywhere in the world, however, I think that I would most like to travel to Eurofurence. In other words, I would like to travel to Berlin, Germany. And the reason being is because, well, I've had the pleasure of meeting some of the Germans, and they are absolute darling fellows over there. They are just, to use a term that they are familiar with, they are gute Schleicher. Yes, Germans are gute Schleicher. So I would most like to travel to Eurofurence and experience the gute Schleicher firsthand. So perhaps maybe next year. I'm not sure if this year is likely. There is still a possibility, but most likely not. But if I were to travel anywhere, my next destination would be to Eurofurence. My second choice for traveling, if we're talking about sort of long-distance destinations, would be back to Singapore. And the reason being is because my big brother is there in Singapore. He may be visiting here to our side of the world, here in North America, in a few days' time, but I would much rather invade his home den and help him spin around his room and clean his room in a tornado of lightning and thunder and celestial noodleness. Yes. Grandma Kage says, I keep hearing "Dieu le lomo" from my kid, but I do not know what it means. Grandma Kage, I shall tell you. Grandma, every single time you hear "Dieu le lomo," smack him upside the head. He is not allowed to say such words. You and I have had conversations about him and his impudence against us noble celestial dragons. So every time you hear him say "Dieu le lomo," you just smack him upside the head. I most definitely did not teach him that, by the way. I hold no accountability for him. Let's see. Altorius says, if Tien went to Convergence in Melbourne, I would make a genuine effort to go there again, since I haven't been there for a while. Well, that's a very sweet thought of you, Altorius. Australia is quite a ways away for me, and it does fall in a time of year that is not too convenient for me, sadly. However, perhaps one year as well. Australia seems like a very, very fitting place for me to go to, for only one reason, and one reason. Because Australia is full of die! And Grandma says, okay, I just smacked him, he is here. Thank you very much, Grandma. I shall buy you a glass of your favorite Moscato or even ice wine when I see you next week. Or actually, Grandma, I might just end up bringing you an entire bottle. How does that sound? You see, we old ones, we elderly senior dragons, we get it where we can. You can't blame me, that is the nature of us old ones. Midnight Shepherd 28. Tien, what is your favorite white wine? Well, this is a very interesting question to ask, since I am known as more of a sake dragon. I can't really pinpoint my favorite white wine right now. I've had several. I'm not exactly a heavy drinker of white wines. But actually, the one that I had that was not bad whatsoever happens to be a cheap bottle of Chateau Saint Michel. And for those of you that are more keen on details, you'll know that this is a standard for Uncle Kage, and I can see why it's a standard for Uncle Kage. It's cheap, it tastes really damn good. It's gute Schleicher, and you could get it pretty much anywhere. It's literally all you need. It's just, it does the job. It's sort of like, actually, I'm going to hold that thought because I can't say that in good company. Again, we have a lady here. We must act appropriately as such. Uh, let's see, what would be the animal you would avoid most if you came to Australia? I would most likely avoid the 12-headed python, snake, bear, crocodile, stingray, dragon combination hybrid. That is, I've heard many stories about that one. It also has a specific name. I can't remember what it is, but I remember it's just a combination of everything that has a lot of dye in it, and then put into one. Because Australia is crazy. Australia is just, to be quite honest, Australia, everything wants to kill you. You know, the sun, the temperatures, they want to kill you. The 12-headed python, snake, alligator, crocodile, bear, lion, kangaroo thing there wants to kill you. You know, the wine there most definitely wants to kill you. So Australia and I share many common properties in the sense that we like to promote our sense of dye. Yes. Yes, don't forget about the drop bears. Yes, the drop bears, where you'll be walking on the street in Australia, and all of a sudden you look up to the sky and a bear drops on you. You know, like a 1-ton bear just suddenly just goes plop on top of you, and then you end up becoming like smoosh on the ground or something like that for the bear to lick up. Oh, and Uncle Kage had said, well, I am not cheap. I could make a very easy comment about that, but that wouldn't be too fair to him, especially now that he's most likely running about, to and fro, trying to get, things sorted out in last-minute details wrapped up for the convention. As much as I do poke fun at Uncle Kage, also known as the Wine Thief, and yes, you may take a drink for that, as much as I poke fun at him, I do hold him in very, very high regards for Anthrocon and all that he does for that convention. Without him and his tireless efforts that he's been constantly doing over the past 16, not 16, 18 years now, 18 years, Anthrocon would not even be close to having the privilege of being known as the world's largest and most renowned furry convention. No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about another wine thief. Why would I be talking about you? Huh? Not everything is about you, impudent youngster. Yes. Let's see. Don't need to be heavy to tear someone's face off, Altorius says. I'm not quite sure what that means, but, well, I know that tearing someone's face off does not require much weight at all. You can ask cats. Cats do it all the time. You'll be having a cat roam around your house, and you'll be minding your own business, doing whatever it is that you do at home, and suddenly, the cat will, like, jump on top of your head or something, or it will jump on your lap, or it will jump on your desk if you're at the computer, and you'll be like, oh, cute kitty, good cute kitty. That is what cats do. They don't need anything except, well, their cattiness. Oh, he's talking about koala bears. Yes, koala bears. I've completely forgotten about those tree climbers and face huggers and all that. Yes, they are sort of face huggers, from what I'm to understand. I mean, they're all the same, aren't they? Cats, koala bears, lions, tigers, bears. They all give you a very hefty dose of dye. So, to an old celestial dragon like me with, bad eyesight and a broken back and constantly ignoring all the differences in animal anatomy and all that, they're all the same. They're all dye creatures of dye. And I am at the very top of that pyramid. I see something written in Chinese text. It has my name addressed to it. It passed by too quickly. I could not see it. Ah. Ah. This is a very dangerous couch to be on, I'll say that right now, because it really does allow one to just fully relax and sprawl out and be a limp noodle. Maybe I should just be a limp noodle for the rest of this show, something like that. I don't know. I'm just I am being a lazy Saturday noodle before Anthrocon. After all, actually, it makes no difference, Anthrocon or any other day. An old dragon such as myself, we don't do much around the house. We don't clean a lot. We find some poor soul to help clean our house for us. We just drink and look online at things we shouldn't look at and all that. I think Uzo would knock anyone's butt down Greek. I'm not sure if anyone wants to knock a butt down Greek. That butt might not be worth anything if you knock it down to Greek. But anyhow, yes, that was a very interesting thought. I shall ponder that. Anyhow, mm, mm, I see you, Wine Thief. I see you, Kage. In invisible. I shall do my best monocle glare because I don't have my monocle. Right here. I'm going to kick my feet. Monocle glare. Here, can you see me glaring at you with my makeshift monocle? No, you can't. But I monocle glare you for that impudence. Huff, huff and puff, because I am a roly limp noodle dragon celestial that just rolls around and huffs at you whenever you annoy me. Let's see. I could not see. My eyesight is getting much worse. Mighty Might asks, Tien, have you ever played beer pong? Yes, I have. I've played beer pong many times. Can't say that I'm quite good at it because, again, I'm not really good at handling balls. I just kind of have the ball in my hand and it slips out and I try to pick it back up, but then I realize I've had like several glasses of Saki and I fall over like a drunken idiot I am. So I can't say I'm very good with beer pong. Let's see. Tien, what is the best way to remember to eat at a con? Sharp, I'll tell you the easiest way to know whether or not you've eaten at a con. Just simply see if you are looking at other people's food. Or in some extreme cases, simply look at if you're looking at other people as food. That way you can tell. If you look at someone else who's eating, whether it's in the hallway or sitting down or in the zoo or anything like that at a convention, if you're looking at someone else's food constantly, it's probably a sign. Also, another sure way to tell that you need to eat at a con and will remind yourself is if you find yourself passing out because you feel hungry. Also known as hunger pains, which I seriously hope you do not get. Remember, at every convention you should follow the 6-2-1 rule, a very easy rule to remember, especially at big conventions such as Anthrocon. 6 hours of sleep. And sleep does not mean you snuggle someone for 6 hours or snuggle your favorite plushie or fursuiter for 6 hours. I mean, like, shut your mouth, shut your eyes, and tell your brain to go die, or something like that. For 6 hours at least. Then 2 meals a day. 2 meals, like a full meal. Like, go out, find a cow or a pig, and eat the whole damn thing. That's a meal. And then 1 shower. This is, in my opinion, the most important at a convention. 1 shower a day minimum. If you are a fursuiter, you dress up as a critter or something, not me, I am, of course, not a fursuiter, I'm a grumpy old dragon. But if you are a fursuiter, you must take at least 2 showers a day. 1 before you're in suit and 1 after you're in suit. That is a absolute rule. Do not skimp yourself on those showers. But yes, 6-2-1. Very easy for you to remember. 2 meals, in your case, 2 meals. A lot of people I see, they sort of try to skip on the 3rd meal. They sort of get by simply having a big breakfast or brunch, as some people call it, and they last on that throughout the entire day until it is dinner time. and then they have a quick dinner, or at least a satisfying dinner. A lot of people that especially are busy at conventions, for example, Uncle Kage, and even myself, I am a very busy dragon at conventions. We follow this rule because it works the most efficiently for us. We don't have time to be sitting down at a restaurant and dilly-dallying about when, the hotel is on fire and all the elevators break down and, people are yelling and running around the hotel lobby naked and all that. Oh, this is not talking about Anthrocon, by the way, just making sure. But yes, when things like that are happening, us busy convention folk have no time to be dilly-dallying about in a restaurant. Yes, you may stop clutching at your heart now, Uncle Kage. I was not talking about Anthrocon. I was mentioning any other convention that happens at the Western Convention Center, Pittsburgh, in the month of June, July. Anyhow, Grandma says, I like your brother. Both of you should come and drink with me. My son is always so busy, so I have nobody to talk to. Well, Grandma, if you would like our company and we are able to find an appropriate place and time to meet, then we shall see about that drink. I will have to make sure that before I arrive in Pittsburgh, I pick you up a bottle of Moscato or ice wine. That will give me more incentive to track you down as soon as you arrive in Pittsburgh. Midnight Shepherd asks, what if there was a celestial moon dragon fursuiter? Oh, well, that's an interesting thought. I haven't thought about that because I've seen moon dragons, I've seen celestials, but I haven't seen them put together. That's a very, very big mouthful. Sort of reminds me of the Anthrocon drinking game. For those of you that don't know that, this is a sort of an inside thing that the Anthrocon team does, at least the registration and a few other select few people. And we look at all the badges, and there's a very specific system as to when you take a drink. For example, if the badge name has a color in it, such as blue or silver or red, take a drink for that. If the badge name has the species name in it, if it has fox or fox or wolf or something like that, like lion, bear, something, take a drink for that. Oh, and if it's an exotic name like Kitsune, that's 2 drinks. If you're another language but species as well. So Kitsune, fox in Japanese. And if there's a mystic element in that badge name, you also take a drink, such as earth, wind, fire, whatever that is. So if your name is something like Silver Moon Kitsune Trigender Pyrofox, something like that, good luck, basically. Good luck. I guess you could hit someone on the head and knock them out so they don't care what you do anymore. But other than that, Arabian, I wouldn't know anything about that. Again, that door over there is most definitely not hiding the bodies. Tien as a dragon, do you breathe fire, ice, or any form of element? Well, after a few drinks, come close to my breath and you'll smell what I breathe. And Uncle Kage says, Grandma and I need to break for dinner. Chitabango has cooked for us, wonderful boy that he is. We will not be on the channel, but we are listening to the show. I hope you 3 have a wonderful dinner, and a well-deserved dinner after all the work you have been doing today. And I hope that you continue to enjoy the show in the background. And for Chitabango as well, because, well, you are over there and you are listening in. It's good to see, good to see that you are at least tuning into the show, and I shall be making your acquaintance once more in a few days' time. Yes, and my big brother also shares his well wishes. Have a good nom 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 nom. Have a good dinner break over there. That's what he says. Have a good dinner break over there. Om nom nom nom. Volt asks, so Tien, how many drinks is Blue Fox Thunder Wolf worth? Well, Blue Fox Thunder Wolf, that is 2, and, well, you've got the element, you've got the color, and you've got 2 species, which, in that case, he's a hybrid. So, If I were to make a new rule, if it is a hybrid species, you have to double the amount of drink. So hybrid meaning more than one species. In this case, it is two. So it would originally be 4 drinks, but this would be 8 drinks if I were to implement my rule, because you're multiplying by 2 species, so you multiply the drinks by 2, something like that. So that would be 8 drinks in total, which means you'd probably just take the bottle and shove it down your throat. Gently, of course, gently. Firewing asks, Tien, do you have any dragon plush? Firewing, I do have at least one dragon plush that I know of, and I currently don't have him here with me. He seems to have rolled off somewhere. For those of you that guess which dragon plush it is, of course, Xiaolong Bao, my small dragon bun. Xiaolong Bao, it is literally small dragon bun in Chinese. It's Xiaolong Bao. That's how would you perform it? Yes, Xiaolong Bao is sneaky hidden. Xiaolong Bao vaults, if you ask, I have absolutely no idea, to be quite honest. Xiaolong Bao, he has a mind of his own. He sort of just rolls here and then rolls over there and then rolls everywhere, and sometimes he just rolls in my face and knocks me over. Kind of like a cat does. If he fits, he sits. That chubby dragon plush. Yes, that chubby dragon plush indeed. Perhaps I shall go grab him a little later. It's not as if I can't absolutely find him whatsoever. And I've received a little something on the... I've received a little ping for some reason. Let me see what that ping is. Dun-de-dun-de-dun. Oh, I'm not sure. Just a silly little ping. Copy here. Alright, let's see what else is going on right now. Mighty Might says I'm leaving soon as well. Going to get a bite to eat. I'll be back after dinner if the stream's still going. Bye, Tien. Thanks for the stream, and okay, well, there seemed to be a little bit of a pause over there. Yes, and have a good night. Ah, there it is. And have a good night. Thank you, Mighty Might, for joining in on the stream, and I hope you do return in time for at least the later half of the stream. Again, for this edition of the Grumpystream, because it is right before Anthrocon, and there still are quite a few things for me to do, I might make it just a little bit shorter than usual. Well, perhaps just shorter than usual. I don't want to give off any false expectations, but of course I will still do my part in making your time worthwhile. After all, remember, I'm just an old dragon drinking by himself, although I use this as an excuse to drink with all of you. So cheers to all of you as well for keeping an old dragon company and giving me an excuse to drink. And no, I'm not drinking because you're in my company, but I am drinking because I enjoy drinking with company. My. This hawk in the heavens is absolutely exquisite. I hope you're hearing that, Kage. This hawk in the heavens. Something else. And we have... and the fabulous sleeping star fell again, and I've just dropped a piece of metal somewhere. I don't know what that is, but I'm not going to care for it. Sharp asks, Tien, what's your favorite thing to eat when you drink? Is it pizza? Actually, now that I think about it, I usually don't look at what I eat. I just sort of just grab the nearest meat-related thing and I put it in my mouth. I usually just head over to my favorite pho restaurant. For those of you that don't know what pho is Vietnamese beef noodles, and in particular rice noodles, in a very hearty beef broth. And it is a very simple dish to prepare, but utterly tasty if you know where to get it. There's actually a pho restaurant that is on the strip up the western at Anthrocon, for those of you that don't know about it. That one is not exactly the best, but it's passable. But I've got a very nice Vietnamese restaurant just up the road from my den, and well, they do the job very well. As the Cantonese people would say, they are pang lang jang, because pang lang jang is the way to go. It's cheap, it's good, and it's cheap, it looks good, and it tastes like gute Schleicher. Because again, I have no time to dilly dally about with you sit down and a 3-course meal and enjoying wine slowly and all of that when I'm out and about. I have things to do, such as return home and turn on my webcam thingy mababa over there and talk to all of you because I enjoy the company that you provide. Oh, and I also felt really accomplished this earlier today when I decided that I had enough of holding the webcam when I was doing my drawings in previous streams, and I decided I'm going to rig it up to something so that it can, like it can just record by itself without me having to hold it and lose my mind completely and trying to, not make it fall and be a fail and all that sort of stuff. So I've actually rigged up the camera to a tripod, and now it's like all like standing by itself, and it's all like smart and stuff, and I feel smart, and I'm an old dragon that makes technology better. Yes, I feel much smarter for that. Kyoan asks Tien, what is your favorite thing to do to solve? What is your favorite thing to do so solve boredom? To solve boredom. Kyoan, you shouldn't be asking the old folk that because us old folk, we're known to be boring. It's quite honest. I mean, quite honestly, that's why this show exists. Is because I felt that I had absolutely nothing to do, so that. But well, I need to talk to people more because an old dragon sitting at home doing absolutely nothing, well, that's boring itself. So I might as well, spend my time being more social, giving myself excuses to drink more and all, and, basically do something much more interesting than a celestial dragon actually is. I mean, other than that, I would most likely be practicing my martial arts or trying to lose some of this weight that I put on during the winter time because dragons got a roll and all that. And, well, probably rearranging city structures when I really feel the need to. And I wanted to put this thing in that I had. I do not know what just happened. Audio is glitching out on me. Oh, okay, something popped up on my screen over there. Again, I hope we have no technical difficulties unlike last time. I've gotten my Asian to Asian this thing up, and hopefully now it will work a little bit better. BT Werewolf says when he is bored, he chases Kage out of the wine cellar. Of course I do. Yes, that is very true as well. Although I've been seeing him less and less in my wine cellars, which can only mean one of two things. One, which is my wine cellar security has been utterly improved thanks to Mr. French Girl Dragon over there. And two, or two, that he has somehow found another way to acquire wine, whether my own or not, and has no need to invade my cellars anymore. Both thoughts which bring some comfort but bring some sadness as well. For I do enjoy chasing him out of those wine cellars. He makes the funniest faces whenever I'm chasing him, and he's all like, "Ah, don't eat me, don't eat me." He's starting to make dad noises. What are dad noises, may I ask? First there was dad bod, and then there was like daddies, and then now there's dad noises. I don't know what's with this infatuation with dad right now. It's not as if we old ones are attractive or anything. Of course not. Perish the thought that Shenlong could be attractive. Huh. You're all flattering an old dragon by giving me thoughts that I could be attractive. Especially when I am not in a French girl pose as I am right now. Well, even if you can't have a monocle stare, you can still have some dye. I see a link and I'm not sure if I want to click it. What is this? Oh yes! Ha ha! Very funny, Bane. Yes, that is a dye. That is I can't even be mad about that, as the youngsters would say. That is 100% pure serving of dye. Yes, pure organic, whole grain fed, no GMO, gluten free, and all that sort of nonsense sort of dye. Yes. Feegle Adler says, I bet Kagi can get in no matter what security you have. Unfortunately, I hate to admit it, but I think you're all right. For Old Dragon's security is not on the same sort of understanding as, you know, Old Man's security. Clearly, I'm doing something wrong because all of the preventative measures that I have taken off for dragons, old dragons in particular, but when he ain't no old dragon, maybe that's why they'll work. Maybe I'll just have to put something else to deter him. Maybe like a discarded pack of diapers or something. Anyhow, yes, moving on to the next question. Greek Yoshi says, plot twist. He found better wine elsewhere, insulting your quality of wine. Yes, that is a viable third option as well, which also does bring me quite a big pain, I should say. I would like to think that as a celestial dragon, I have more dignity and more regality and more sort of honor in the taste that I have in wines and sakis, but really, I'm just a cheap old dirty bum. I really am. I mean, I sit around most of the days and I drink this sake that I can get my hands on. Although recently, very recently, I have upgraded from being that cheap old dirty bum to being an expensive old dirty bum. For my local wine shop now stocks the coveted Dasai 23, Otter Festival 23. And hallelujah, praise be to the wine gods and the celestials still in the heavens above, my brothers and sisters, and the marketing manager at the liquor store over there. But praise be that they now have Dasai 23 in fresh stock, coming in by the boxfuls and the truckloads. And I had to get my hands on quite a few of them for Anthrocon because, well, there's no other better way to tease that wine thief than to have his most coveted and favorited Saki. I must have had a leftover from dinner there. And Rocky Fennec Fox says, you're a very handsome dragon, Tien. No, Rocky Fennec Fox, I thank you for the flattery, but I really am not a handsome dragon whatsoever. I'm only an old celestial dragon full of wrinkles and old age and irritability and grumpiness, and I just drink a lot, and I drink a lot, and I ramble a lot as well. And you seem to enjoy my ramblings, which is why you are here tonight, and for that I thank you. Although I would thank you more if you'd get me a refill of that glass. Anyhow, speaking of which, I most definitely would like another sip of my hawk in the heavens. Perhaps that's why it tastes so good, because this came from the heavens where I once lived, where I was born and where I grew up in the heavens with my big brother until we decided to make the dumb mistake of saying, hey, let's go visit the humans. They sound like fun. And then, well, here we are. Anyhow, ganbei to all of you. Nom, 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 nom. Good slicer， 真係好嘢啊，非常好啊。An Arabian Dark Zone says, tasty charred cow. Yes, yes, that is part of my explanation of the 621 that I had done earlier about what sort of meal that you should have every single day. I don't believe at Anthrocon you can readily find a cow or a pig nearby, but if you find an impudent youngster, I'm sure they taste just as good. Don't ask me how I know. I most definitely do not know by experience. Perhaps at convention, security just needs to be full of dragons, and then people would respect them more because they know that dragons really don't give a crap who you are, because everyone looks like dinner to dragons. The chat seemed to have stopped scrolling for a little bit. My computer is not Asian enough, clearly, or it's as old as I am, and right now it is lagging. Either way, it is very, very disturbing. But at least the stream is still running, so that is a good sign. Oh, and I saw a question. What did that say? Honored Celestial Dragon Tien, I'll have to teach you how to say Gute Schleiser. I would be very, very honored if you would teach me. I am not a very cultured dragon, at least not in human culture, but I will do my best to learn. Again, I am sort of I was once a dignified celestial dragon, a dignitary, a royal up in the heavens, and then as I started living amongst the humans, I sort of just stopped caring because I realized, well, being a dignified celestial dragon ain't gonna get me any drinks, so I might as well be an irritable, grumpy old fart. Because for some reason that seems to work. When I'm a grumpy old fart, more people are inclined to give me offerings so that I calm down and don't destroy the convention center. And actually, that works quite well in Uncle Kage, which is why he and I have such a good wine-sharing relationship. Well, more so him giving me wine. But anyhow, yes, I seem to get more wine better when I am, when I am less cultured. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe it's got something to do with those crazy drinking habits that those Europeaners have. I remember seeing quite recently on the social medias, once again, a British Twitter account that tweeted about British things and British problems and common British stereotypes. And right after the recent referendum results came out, a few minutes right after those were announced, they only had one thing to say about it. Pub? And I could get behind that because I'm sure everyone in Britain needed it at that very moment. Well, let's see, something about Cantonese. Dionysus asked, I was not sure if he spoke a dialect, e.g. Cantonese, Hakka, etc. Dionysus, I do have Cantonese speaking skills. Those are the only ones that I have so far, the Asian languages. I am currently working on Mandarin, as I was only taught in Cantonese in the heavens. Up in the heavens, we spoke with really only two dialects. We spoke with what you're understanding me in right now, and we spoke with alcohol. Those were the only two things that mattered up there. Now down here, I've got to learn all of these, this Gong Dong Hua and this Jiang Guo Yu and this Du Lei Lo Mo and Ham Sub Checo Pega Mo and all that sort of stuff. And it really does confuse a dragon. But yes, I do speak at least one Asian language. So I can verify myself as a Chinaman because I speak the Chinese and I can give you really good deals off of pirated DVDs and all that. And I can fix your computer for you. Actually, I can't. Don't ask me to fix your computer for you. But, however, if you ever have a broken cell phone, here's a really easy way to fix it. What you do is you take the cell phone and you open a Ziploc bag and you put it inside the Ziploc bag. Then you fill the Ziploc bag up to its fullest with rice. And you leave it overnight, and a group of Asians will come to your house and fix your phone for you. There, brand new phone, just like that. And I saw something that said dragonic alcoholese. Yes, dragonic alcoholese. Yes, that is the official language of the heavens up above, is draconic alcoholese. I believe that is a language that is very rarely spoken these days. In order to truly understand it, you must buy a dragon a bottle of, well, whatever his favorite drink is, and then you shall see the magic that is draconic alcoholese. I bet now that Kage is listening into this, and he hears of such existence of draconic alcoholies that now he's all interested and is like, "Ooh, teach me how to speak. Teach me how to say I am a dirty old drunkard bum in draconic alcoholies," which I shall not teach him. Yeah. Ah, 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 ah. Ah, good stuff, good stuff. I don't know why I even bother using a cup. I might as well just stick my pink thing into the bottle. Not my pink thing, my pink straw thing, that is. Volt says, "Good thing Kagi is not a dragon. Riesling is his favorite, and that is expensive shit." Actually, I'll have you know, Volt, that a bottle of Chateau Saint Michel Riesling from the Columbia Valley is usually around $12 USD at most. That is the very most that I've seen it gone for, is $12 USD, and I'm not sure how much that translates to in Australia, but that is some cheap shit here over in North America. I mean, let's be honest. After the first bottle, you barely notice the difference between the $12 shit and the $20 or the $40 or whatnot, which is why, in my case tonight, I have one bottle of good shit, and then I have another bottle of not so good shit. So really it doesn't matter. You can get super plastered and happy off of a cheap drink as long as it works for you. And that $12 bottle of Chateau Saint Michel works beautifully for Kagi and I. And as I mentioned earlier, I am going to forego the cup in favor of just drinking right out of the bottle because, well, of course, it's a very nice bottle. It's very smooth and firm, and it's carrying all this delicious liquid. And anyhow, yes. Let's see what else the youngsters have to say. Mighty Might says, "Hello, Tien. How are you feeling?" Mighty Might, it is good to see you back. I believe you had left. Currently, I am feeling about a Tuesday right now, which is not bad, but it's not a Thursday. A Tuesday is not a Thursday. Usually the scale begins somewhere around Monday, which is the absolute worst because you're sober, and then you've got to move up towards Thursday. So right now is about a Tuesday. Sharp asks, "Tien, have you ever tried Fireball whiskey?" Yes, I have tried it. Once. That's all I shall say about that matter. I shall not speak of Fireball whiskey. Huff. And my big brother is using more of this intolerable hieroglyphic Chinese text, and I'm going to forego it because it probably has something to do with Kage. You are a dirty, cheap old bastard, drunk, ham sup cheko peng ang mo. Okay. You're saying that he is just a very tricky wine thief. My apologies, big brother. I swore you were telling him that he was a dirty old perverted man. Anyhow, Midnight Shepherd says, "Are you taunting the wine thief with your sake bottle?" Of course not. Why would I, Celestial Dragon, would want to torment a poor, sober wine thief currently working very hard at making sure his convention runs smoothly while I enjoy this pristine liquid of the heavens. Literally of the heavens. This is the hawk in the heavens, the Tantaka Tokubetsu Junmai Saki, of only the finest prefecture. Mighty Might says, "I like how you keep track of the week, Tien." Well, I'm an old dragon. I have nothing better to do. And Uncle Kage says, "I will kick your tail, dragon. If you kick my tail, you are getting none of this Desai 23 that I may have mentioned you were getting at the convention. Be warned, there's a bottle of Desai 23 on the line. So if Eastern dragons are part fish, what does dragon sushi taste like? So Rabid Hyena is alluding to the fact that Eastern dragons, by legend, actually started out as koi fish. And koi fish, basically, you'll find them if you go to any sort of Chinese restaurant, a Chinese-themed restaurant, and they're these beautiful fish with the fins, and they sort of have the same ear fins as I do, and the same sort of frills and the details you'd find on celestial dragons and all that. And the legend goes that in order to ascend to the heavens and become a dragon, koi fish must undertake a perilous journey up a waterfall that reaches all the way up through the heavenly gate at the very top. And once they traverse such a dangerous task and make it all the way to the top, and they leap through the gates towards the heavens, and they transform into a beautiful Eastern dragon such as myself. 100 years ago. 1,000, 10,000 years ago, in fact. But what does dragon sushi taste like? I can neither confirm nor deny such allegations until... anyhow, yes, dragon sushi tastes quite good. It depends on what type of dragon sushi you get, however. If you're getting the type that's just like... If you're getting the type that has no fish roe on it, or no sort of tempura flaking or batter on it, I wouldn't say that's a good dragon sushi. It's always the little details that make a dragon sushi roll. And I see now that that the wine thief is quickly turning his heel on his previous impudence, and is now begging for a celestial dragon to share those bottles of Desai 23 with him. You know, maybe I should go and get said bottles of Desai 23 and just showcase it for the stream to see. Just slowly admiring its curvatures and its cold, chilled perfection and its utterly delectable liquid content inside the bottle. Just thinking about it makes me want to drink it all myself. Anyhow, yes, I had a moment of weakness there. Anyhow, no, Kyoin, we are not mentioning that name in the same moment that I am mentioning the Psi 23. No. I wonder how the dinner over at Uncle Kai's place went, along with Chitabango and Grandma. Chitabango, the living, I was going to say like the living mountain of a Tengu or pangolin. Basically, he's a really big knot bird. He's like a bird, but he's not really a bird, so he's kind of just a knot bird. So Chitabango is a wonderful fellow that I've had the pleasure of not only making acquaintances with, but actually being able to spend some time with when I visit to North Carolina, or even when we run cross paths with each other at Anthrocon, which I'm sure we will be doing many times next week. I very much look forward to that, as well as perhaps even sharing a drink with Chitabango over there. And I see that the wine thief... Grandma, if you're still listening to the stream, kick your son's ass. He needs it. He's been needing it. Such impudence from a Chekopeng Kage is the almighty as well. He is not anywhere close to the almighty. He's more like the not mighty, especially when I'm done with him. Or should I say, especially when Grandma's done with him. His impudence has gone way too far. I shall kick the youngster's ass, whoever it was that told him all of these profane celestial curses. This sort of slander, this buggery should not be ever be said in the presence of mortals, let alone celestial dragons. Steelwolf asks, is Kage also celestial? Steelwolf, Kage is not a celestial. He is as mortal as the other 7 billion mortals on this earth are, but he hangs out with celestial dragons quite often, which means he does pick up a thing or two off of them. No, that does not mean I taught him any of these terrible things that he is saying. It is most definitely not I. I am not accountable for any of it. A celestial cockroach. That is a... I can't even begin to fathom. A celestial cockroach. I can't begin to fathom what that... Would that mean that he not only would have, like, the 6 or 8 arms that cockroaches have, but he'd also have the additional face whiskers that all celestial beings possess, and he'd also have, you know, the big floofy manes that we celestials possess, and the sort of dignity that we automatically inherit as celestials and all. I could not imagine him like that. Oh, goodness gracious, no. It's almost as if the celestial cockroach would become me. Me, Qianlong, the god of the skies, the celestial from above. It's almost like he would become me. Richie Wilkes, do you like Chardonnay? I do not believe I like Chardonnay. Not very much a fan of anything other than my Saki that is in front of me. And my big brother makes a very, very droll reference to Overwatch, the game that every youngster seems to be playing. Experience bugality. Yes, big brother, hardy har har. I shall make sure I snuggle you extra for that terrible pun. Huff. I shall drink from my bottle of Tentaka, sex in my mouth in the heavens. Now. That is good stuff. Facing hope. Goodness. Yes, dragon cockroach. I mean, dragon cockroach. I could not think of that right now. I really am trying to envision a dragon cockroach. Like, he'd literally look like the living embodiment of Vishnu with all those arms and then the whiskers on his face and the butt nose and the big floofy ass and, you know, the mane and all. Anyhow, no, I'm not going to dwell on that thought. Yes. Mighty Might asks, Tien, what is your least favorite type of booze? The type I have to buy for myself. Fegal Adverse says, do you always drink the bar dry at furry cons? And I know what link that is, Fegal Adler. That is a very, very adorable commission that I had gotten from Moth Monarch Naomi. Many of you may be familiar with her from Uncle Kage's wine streams. She drew that piece as a sort of a joke between Kage and I, of course, when we were sort of bickering back and forth between drinking the bar dry and all that. I usually do try to drink the bar dry, but I usually also feel a shard of pity for that wine thief, because he's always like puppy-eyeing me and, you know, all like apologetic and always saying, oh, great celestial Qianlong, please would you have some mercy, spare a boon for a poor mortal soul and allow me to have a single bottle of your finest wine and all that. And it's always like, well, I guess you may. And I give him the bottle, and he's like, mine! And that's how the story goes. What did I see just now? Something about a French drag roach. A French celestial drag roach that wishes to be drawn as one of the French girls. No, I do not. I do not wish to be drawn like one of your French girls. Frankly, I would look horrible being drawn like one of your French girls. I would not suggest you try it. There's nothing French nor girl about this celestial frame right here. It's nothing but oldness. It's nothing but old celestialness. Drazhenga asks, what is the first thing that comes to mind when you see the word dragon? The first thing that comes to my mind is nom, 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 nom. The second would be rah, 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 rah. As those are the two most frequent noises you hear coming out of dragons. The first one being nom rather than rah, because most of the time when dragons rah, they only do it perhaps once or twice to let the world know, or at least let the city know that they've arrived, and they're all like, rah, look at me, I'm a dragon. But then when you go into the actual city to find some humans to eat for dinner, that's where you end up getting the majority of your nom 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 noms. So the first thing that I think of when I hear the word dragon is I think no. And the second thing would be rah. Midnight Shepherd asks, how would you feel if a female dragon rubbed your horns? I don't know what that would feel like because I've never had one rub my horns. Ha! Us old dragons can't ever get it anymore. We lost our chances ages ago. Yes, Volt asks, rah, 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 rah. And I reply back to him, rah, 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 rah. And I basically told him to go, hurry up and go get me another bottle of sake. Yes, I'm not sure what sake that Australia has, but I'm confident Volt would be able to find me the finest. Drathenga says maybe there's a chance at Anthrocon. There may very well be a chance at Anthrocon indeed. Anthrocon for an Old Dragon is a convention where I try to be out and about as much as I can. After all, it is the largest convention and many people want to see a Celestial, so a Celestial must fulfill his obligation to the mortals that he hangs around with. So perhaps at Anthrocon there will be a chance. Volt says, I'd managed to find Desai 23, and if you did manage that, then I might perhaps manage a trip to Australia for convergence or something of the sort, so I may collect upon said Desai. What a treat that would be. Although I still have those Desai 23 bottles upstairs sitting being chilled right now at this very moment, just waiting for a celestial dragon and perhaps an honored guest to drink it with him. How would you feel if a vixen dragon fox rubbed your horns? Again, I won't know how that feels until one actually does. The only person that has ever rubbed my horns or squeezed my horns or rubbed my noodles or done other inappropriate things to my noodles, I will not name who he is in case he gets any more ideas about that. But yes, I've never had those experiences. Old dragons, as I say, were not attractive enough. All old dragons know how to do is ramble and drink. We're terrible at flirting and whatnot. We're terrible at, showing off our big, strong muscles and all that, and, trying to look like the strong men or something of the sort. Us old dragons are really only good for what you see right now. Tetris Wolf asks, hey Tien, shouldn't there be a roll call? Well, since you mention it, I might as well do the roll call now. I was planning to do it right before I began drawing, but actually I think I will begin drawing in just a little bit. But I might as well do the roll call now. Better sooner than later, as the humans might say. So joining us tonight, I am very pleased to have in my company BT Werewolf, Dragon Glompus 777, Arabian Darkstone, Dargon, Greek Yoshi, Steel Wolf, Midnight Shepherd 28, Rocky Fennec Fox, Tetris Wolf, Grandma Kage, Q-Decay, or Q-Dick as I usually pronounce it as, Rabbit Hyena, Kyoin, Sharp the Hybrid, Chiver, Chava, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Firewing, Grumpy Chinglong, my big brother. Silver Gatomon, Kai Ninjaratsu, of Dosalano, myself, apparently, Fiegel Adler, Bane, Uncle Kage, and I guess by association, Chitabengo. Autoriu, Volt, Mitu, Bon, Richie Wilkes, Draz Henga, and Mighty Might. For all of you that I have just called your names out in that roll call, again, thank you for joining me on the stream tonight and keeping an old celestial dragon company whilst I, well, do my Grumpystream. Simply put, because most of you at this point are, you know what's happening right now. And to my patrons in particular, those that have patroned to me through Patreon, which would be Silver Gatomon, Silent On, Arabian Darkstone, Voltash Core, Warius the Dragon, who cannot be with us tonight. And there's another one. There's a few other ones as well that I remember. But yes, there's many patrons that have sponsored me through Patreon to do these shows, and without them, I really could not have continued to provide the entertainment that I have, because I have. Yes, I have! I have that I am. I am, therefore I have. Yes, that was a very strange Freudian slip right there. But anyways, so I have. So on that note, especially with the patrons being acknowledged tonight, I guess it would be a proper time to try out my new little tripod rig and get to drawing those requests that my patrons have. So tonight on the stream, I believe that I have Silver Gatomon, Volt Ash Core, Arabian Darkstone as the 3 patrons that have sent me their drawing requests so far. Warius Dragon is not on the stream, unfortunately he's away at work. Silent Dawn I haven't heard from, so I'm not sure what's going on there. And, well, it seems that tonight will be a little bit short on the drawings, but no worries whatsoever, because this old Celestial Dragon won't be changing his drawing skill in any way whatsoever, as if I ever had any. So, let me get all of this stuff out of the way. I want to make sure I don't spill anything. It will be very hard to clean up. Excuse me, it's a little bit of a... Please, Gorda. Goodness gracious. I seem to be coming down with a little bit of a something. Either that or this little pen is dusty. Yes, dragon sneeze. I must sneeze out all of the fluff that keeps on flying into my face. Us dragons, we shed, unfortunately, like most creatures. Cannot be helped. Give me a moment here. I might have to just lean into the camera and move a few things around. I'm going to move that there. Move this there as well. This cup is not needed anymore. I'll put this over here. I don't need this keyboard, this clickety-clacketing thing. Oh, and Arabian Darkstone is concerned that I got something inside my suit. Rest assured, Arabian Darkstone, I am a professional dragon, and a professional dragon never makes himself untidy, so to say. So rest assured that I am perfectly 100% alright. And I always give myself baths as well, especially before conventions, so that I may appear the most presentable that I can. Fear not. Alright, there. Where are the papers? Oh. Yeah, excuse me one moment. I have to sort of try to spit a little piece of fluff ball out. Remember, us dragons are cats 3 days of the week. Which days, we don't know, but I guess we do today. No. Yeah. Alright, that's a little better. Alright, let's see. I shall open this thing over here, get my little drawing tool out, whatever that might be today. Let's see what we have. Give me one moment here. I've got to see what drawing tools are available. No, I do not want that one. That one's too small. It's almost as small as my small needle. Let's see. What about this one? This one is acceptable. This one is more than acceptable. I've got the thick pen today because dragons like it when it's thick and juicy. Anyhow, yes, I've got the nice thick marker so that you may see all the lines of dye clearly. All right. Let's see if this tripod thing will cooperate with me. All right. And tilt it down a little bit. Uh, Seems to be working so far. All right. Yes, and you can see over here there's another bottle of Saki, which I will introduce later if we have the time. All right. So the first request, if I can quickly go to this list over here. Where did I put that list? Ah, there it is. There's the list. All right. The first request I have, I will do this in order of the emails that I have received, was from Volt Ashcore. My patron, Volt Ashcore, has been a patron of mine for some time. Thank you very kindly, Volt. And his request is, for my drawing, a pic of Tien in Australia right now with all the cold weather we are having, reacting how he normally would when it gets down to about 6 degrees at night. So basically, an average night in Canada. Hmm. Well, you must remember, Volt Ashcore, that yes, I do reside in Canada, and 6 degrees is basically summer for us. So that does not explain the 26 degrees that we are having right now. But regardless, that is basically summer for me. But at the same time, I guess I shall do your drawing justice. Although, I will have to say I do need a very, very quick moment of reprieve once again, as I do seem to have something stuck up my nose right now. So I am going to quickly go and clear whatever it is out of there, and then we shall see about getting those drawings done. So, once again, bear with me for a few moments while I go and clear out my nose. Alright, my apologies for that. Again, I had something stuck up my nostril, my dragon nostril, not my butt nose, that is a very different thing. I was just about to draw, but now that I have cleared it out, we can now resume the drawing things for the patrons and all that, and patrons, patrons, whatever, it's the same thing. And I see that, Uncle Kage has departed from the stream, and he and his minions will look after my Desai? How dare he? Especially when he knows that he and I will cross paths in just a few days' time. I shall evoke all the dialects I can upon him. But back to the drawings. The first one, from Volt Ashcore, wanted me to draw what I would look like right now in Australia's seemingly cold weather. Cold weather in Australia. Who would have thought of it? Alright, let's see how we can approach this, since I don't want to draw myself in beach shorts tanning in the sun. Or maybe I should, because that's what I would be doing in 6 degrees weather. Oh, and Altoriu says, I can't be a Patreon just yet, but I sent $20 your way regardless. Altoriu, thank you. You are a darling fellow. I very much appreciate your patronage. Oh, and I also saw a comment earlier about being at IFC. I shall be at IFC this year. I am now frequenting Indie FurCon, so you shall see me there this year as well. Alright. So, Tien, chilling in 6 degrees weather. So first thing that we have to do over here is we have to draw like a little like thermometer thing. This is like one of those thermometers you put in your mouth because, well, that's the only thing I know how to use is things you put in your mouth, like Saki. Anyhow, and it's like all the way down here, and this over here signifies that it's like, dude, it's like frozen, like, yo, the fuck. So over here, this is like 6 degrees Celsius. So that right there indicates that it's 6 degrees Celsius, and it's got like apparently like icicles hanging off of it, I guess, because the way he made it sound, it's like a frozen hell over there, which I guess in Australia would be not far from the truth. So there we are, it's 6 degrees, and it's like hanging off like, you know, like a palm tree or something, because they have those in Australia, right? I'm not sure, I'm not cultured again, we had this conversation already. So it's like a palm tree that's like frozen. I mean, if I were in Australia, I would find the closest palm tree and hang out near that palm tree, because palm trees are good. Palm trees are friendly. They are good stuff. They're good. They're good trees. They're not like pine trees that just want to like kill you and all that. That's a bad tree. But then again, palm trees have like coconuts, and coconuts fall on your head and then you die. So I guess palm trees are also bad. They give you die too. Alright, so we've got our thermometer and our palm tree over there to the side. And you know what? Screw it. I don't know any better about Australia. I'll just draw myself chilling in the sun at 6 degrees. So 6 degrees, and then we've got some sunglasses over here, these cool aviator shades, because that's how I roll, yo. And then you've got my not butt nose, that's my not butt nose. And you've got my whiskers, and then you've got me over here, and I'm like chilling out, yo, because it's so chill. Get it? I'm chilling out because it's so chill in Australia. Ha ha ha. See, I made like an old man joke there. It was funny. Don't judge me. I'm an old man. I get it where I can. All right, so that's me, and I look like a French. I look like an Australian girl. Don't draw me like a French girl. I draw me like one of your Australian girls, which will probably kill you too. But yes. And there I am, and I've got like I've got something in my hand. I guess it's like a martini, and I'm drinking my martini through my straw or something of the sort. You've got to give me the little details as well. Little details. All right, so, and you've got to give me the horns. You can all say it for me, what I always say about my horns. I'm not going to say it. Alright, there they are. Horns, horns, lots of horns. And then you've got the ears, and you've got my fins on that side. And it's good enough. And I'll give myself some more bubble feet, because Bubble feet are always good. Bubble feet are good things. Let me move the camera just a little bit more this way, so you can see it a little better. There we are. And I'll give myself a little tail as well, and a little spirally thing at the end of my tail. I'm not always sure what that is. My mom always told me it was just a little bubble. Reminds me of all the bubbles that I always eat. Bubble waffles, bubble tea, and all that. And, don't forget the sun, says my teammate. Oh, yes, of course. We have to have the sun on this side over here. And the sun is also frozen, because this is Australia, and screw your rules of physics. So the sun is also frozen at 6 degrees. And even the sun is like... The sun has like a surprised face. And the sun himself, in Australia, is like... Yo. The fuck? Because he's like, yo, dude, we're all frozen here, and here you are, chilling out in 6-degree weather. I know it's the nighttime, is what Volt originally said in his email, but, well, I chill whenever I want, okay? I am an old dragon, I chill whenever I want. Could have Volt off to the side, frozen in an icicle. Alright, I'll have you on the side over here, and you are your own little Titanic iceberg. Alright, I'll make you a Titanic iceberg. And Volt is over here. And Volt is like frozen, and he's all like, help, I'm frozen. And it's like, too bad for you. You're not celestial enough. And there's a few more of the details, I guess. I can't draw too big with this mark, unfortunately. This marker is a little oversized. It's a little big for a dragon. And I give him a bigger frown. And he's also like, help. So there's Tianlong chilling, and then there's Volt frozen in his like little like chamber of ice. He's like the Titanic iceberg again. And then there's the frozen sun, and the frozen sun's like, yo, the fuck. So that, well, maybe I should draw like a koala like frozen on the ground or something. Maybe I should draw like a roly snowball koala. Yes, I shall, over here in this little corner, I shall have like a koala bear, and he's like stuck in snow or something like that, and he's like, is this how koala bears are drawn? I don't know. I'm going off of memory right now. It looks more like a puppy. Ah, well, it's okay. It's a snowball puppy koala bear thing. It'll kill you sometime regardless. Alright, there you go. That's Tianlong chilling in Australia. So this is chilling in Thailand. There we are. And then I shall write on this corner Tianlong La, as I do on all my drawings. There we are. That's for you, Volt. That's what you throw me money from your Patreon wallet and all that for, is for me to draw me chilling in the middle of winter and all that. Anyways, that's chilling in Thailand. There we are. That's for Volt Ashcore, drawing number 1. Alright, let's get myself a new piece of paper. Here we are, that shall do. Alright, and now we have drawing number 2. Drawing number 2. And who is the next email? The next email is from Arabian Duckstone, one of my newer patrons. Thank you very much for your patronage, Arabian. Alright. Arabian Duckstone would like me to draw a group of our Dragonkin, Eastern and Western. Watching the lesser beings at Anthrocon would be interesting. Alright, I guess I can do that. I have much experience judging all the lesser creatures, so I'm sure I'm able to do that well. Alright, so first what we need at Anthrocon is we need the Westin, the main hotel of Anthrocon over here. I'll move that out of the way. And this over here is the Westin. Just so you know. Yes, Westin, there we are. And we've got the Weston's big archway over here, and all that, yada yada yada. And then you've got the Sky Bridge. And the Sky Bridge goes into, you know, the big DLCC convention center, yay, blah blah, and all that more. All that nonsense. And there's the roof of the DLCC as well, something of the sort. They've also got lots of flags up there, so I'll give them... Oh, that went off page. There we are. And all that sort of stuff. Anyways, here it says DLCC. And they've got usually like the Anthrocon banner somewhere here, so I'll put like a little paw print banner, because that's Anthrocon's logo. And there we are. And this is Anthrocon's banner over there, and then we got the Weston and the DLCC building. And, alright, I need to leave some space for the dragons as well. So we've got, like, the crowd over here, though, the crowd of furries and all that. They're all stick people and stick furries. Stick furries are good, because they're, like, tiny and they're munchable. And the stick furries over here, they're like, yay! Because they're stick furries and all that. And then the stick furries are there, and then the dragonkin. So, of course, we need to have me, and I will be over here. And I will be looking on, and I will be like, frowny face, because I judge you. I judge you so hard. Yes, I judge you so hard. And I shall draw myself as a bubble this time, because I am a bubble dragon. I am a noodle dragon, but sometimes I just bubble it out, because bubbles are good. Alright. All the details and whatnot. More details, more details. And now I actually have to draw other dragons as well. Alright then. Let's see. So I'll draw a Western dragon, of course. Keep it nice and diverse. Alright, so here we have Western dragon is also like frown, because he's as grumpy as I am. And he's also a bubble too, because he's also like I am. He's a bubble. And he's got tail, and I've got tail, and we've all got tails going on, and he's got horns, and I've got horns, and we're all horny, and we've got the horniness going on. And he's got the wings, so I'll give him some wings over here as well. Alright, so that's east and west right there, joined together. And over here, they're just like... Over here, they're just like... silent judging. Because we are always silently judging you. There, silently judging. So we are judging the youngsters at Anthrocon. Maybe we need to multiply them a little more. They seem like rodents the way that they multiply at Anthrocon. They're like, yay! Look at us, we're at Anthrocon. We are increasing in size every year and giving Uncle Kage more headaches. Yay! And yes, more critters and all that sort of stuff. And here's the roadway, I guess. Here's the tunnel underneath the DLCC and all that. And I guess this would be the intersection, which means the Courtyard Marriott's on the other side, but whatever. Alright, and this is at Anthrocon, so, like, we are, like, towering, we are at least, like, 5 stories high, which is not really macro size, but it's bigger than the average beast. And it's like Silent Judge, yay. Yes. Perhaps we should add another dragon on top as well, just being on top of the DLCC. Ah, heck, why not? We'll add another dragon. Alright, so we're gonna have a dragon up here as well. Move the paper a little bit. And the dragon's going to be like, the fuck, yo. Because he's like, what are all these youngsters doing here? And he's standing on top of the DLCC, and he's got this pudgy little belly. And he's also got horns. Maybe I'll give him 2 sets of horns to make it more interesting. There you are, dragon. He's standing on top of the DLCC. He's like playing a game of Rampage right now. And he's also silently judging from up there as well. So we have a bunch of dragons at Anthrocon judging all of the little folk down there for being so little and stick-like and, like, you know, munchable and all that sort of stuff. Alright, and I'll draw a few windows on the Western. Alright, yes, it's a Western hotel. Yay! Overpriced Western hotel. Woohoo! Increasing in cost every year. Can't buy sake with how much I spend. Anyways, yes, Western hotel. There it is. Alright, so that's us Dragonkin judging the tiny folk at Anthrocon because they're tiny and stuff like that. Alright, Arabian Darkstone, that is for you. I hope you enjoy it. I shall be mailing that out to you. I should probably title it as well. I shall title it over here called Judging You Silently. By Tien La. Alright, that's for you, Arabian Darkstone. If you see this is what you paid for. This is you paying for silent judgment right now. Leave that over there. Alright. Let's see. The last drawing request that I had was from Silver Gatomon, I believe. And Silver Gatomon emailed me saying, I'm just gonna go with this. If I think about it too much, my brain's gonna implode. Tien Sake delivery service. Is this like Cheeky's delivery service, except I'm the little girl with the bow in my hair and flying on a magical broom? Because if it is, I refuse to draw that. I will draw Tien's Sake delivery service, which would be just delivering right to my house. Which is actually exactly what I'm going to do. Okay, I am going to draw a house. I will draw a 3D house because I want to pose myself as more classy than that wine thief. Yes, 3D house. And there is my front door, which is very windowless. And my house itself is very windowless. And my house apparently has Tien's house on it. And then we've got this giant truck here, which is bigger than the house itself. And it's all like, yay, look at me. I am going high speed, driving into my house, crashing through the doors with all of this lovely sake. Yes, and here is Tien's sake delivery service. Yeah, and then we've got to have a wine good here so that people recognize exactly what type of sake. That's the most demented wine grid that I've ever drawn, but it's okay. We'll work with it. And we have to draw an angry Asian driver inside. So, angry Asian driver. Actually, I drew his eyes too big. They should have been smaller. Anyways, then it's like, yeah, drive it into the house. Because sake, yes, for the glory of sake, of course, drive it into the house. And it's like, about to smack into the house and all that sort of stuff. And then it's already flattened it's flattened a bunch of stuff over here on the way too, so we'll draw something flattened. And there's my front yard, I guess, and here's some grass, and there's a sidewalk too in front of my house and all that. And it smacks right into my house. And then maybe over here, I'll actually be looking out the window and I'll be like, the fuck, yo. So that's me over there. In the little window. I'll move the paper. And I'm in the window and I'm watching as this happens. And it's like, the fuck. There we are. Tien Sake delivery service. The fuck is going on? And of course, we need the sun. You know what? Let's do an obligatory sun. That sun has a open gap in it for some reason. And the sun is looking on, and the sun is also surprised that there's an Asian driver being allowed to drive. Alright, there we are. Tien Saki delivery service. I hope you enjoy it, Silver Gatomon. This is your sake delivery service smashing into my house. Huh. Tien Long La. There we are. Ah, alright. I thought dragons had caves. I am not that old. I'm not that old-fashioned, actually. I would not be living in caves, so to say. Oh, actually, I seem to have another email in my inbox. I wonder who this is from. Let's see. Oh, that's from Volt Ashcore. Oh, well. Volt Ashcore. I'll check that out a little bit later. I don't like reading emails in company. It's not that polite. Anyhow, I think that covers the patrons that were here tonight. It's a shame that there weren't any other of my other patrons. I would have loved to draw for them, especially since they paid me to draw for them. Oh, if only they would show up. What's that, Volt? Silent Dawn, you say? Is Silent Dawn here? I made it LOL, but too late. Silent Dawn, you know I don't like it when you youngsters are tardy, but since you are a patron and you do pay me, I will make an exception. Alright, Silent Dawn, give me something to draw for you. Make your money worthwhile. I want to draw something just irreversibly undignified. My team might ask, Tien, do dragons swim? Well, if you're asking Western dragons, they're not quite fond of it. However, Eastern dragons, especially as we are descended of koi fish according to legend, I personally don't believe that, but, well, we would learn to swim. Eastern dragons are the ruler of the seas as well. If you know your Chinese mythology, you'd know that dragons rule over the 4 seas. There are 4 dragons ruling all over the seas of the world. So dragons are quite fond of water, at least on my side. That Tanteka is quite lovely indeed. Alright, let's see. Draw a tiger driving home in a rush to make Tianlong's Grumpystream. But Silent Dawn, you are a tiger. You can run faster than cars can drive. Why would you be driving if you could just run as a tiger? That makes absolutely no sense to me, but, well, if you say so, I guess it can be done then. Alright. A tiger driving home. Alright, here we are. So we'll do we'll do the car first. Well, we draw a car like this, and it's like a very standard sort of car. And it's, got like the lights and all, and it's a 4-door, I would sort of presume, so we'll give it 4 doors. And there we are, we got the 4-door car, and inside, we've got, like, this really, like, apprehensive tiger, and he's all like, oh god no, he's going to miss my show, and I give him some stripes so we know it's a tiger, and we give him maybe some tiger whiskers, and he's all like, over here, he's like, no, and his car's speeding on the freeway, and there's his exhaust pipe, and he's like honking the horn to tell all the other people to GTFO. Beep, beep, GTFO. There we are. Beep, beep, GTFO, and there's like another car in front of him about to get like smashed out of the way, and there's probably another car already flying in the air somewhere over here, so we'll draw a car upside down because that car was too slow and couldn't get out of the way, so too bad for that car. He got his serving of die. So it's like, whee! Cars flying all out of the way. And there's the road over there. I don't know if it's a freeway or not. And then perhaps there's the barrier, I don't know. It's... Yes, it's a very detailed high-speed chase right now. And then perhaps we have... Oh, I know what we need. I know what we need. We need a sun over here, too. And the sun, it's the same sun in all three pictures. I don't know how that sun appeared everywhere at once. But the sun over here is also looking at Silent Dawn. And the sun is also saying, like, the fuck. There we are. There's your the fuck sun. That's the fuck sun right there. So the fuck, and like maybe we have like a smushed roadkill over here too, because this guy couldn't get out of the way. So sorry, roadkill, buddy, you should have gotten out of the way, or you should have come to the Grumpystream. So there we are. We got beep beep boop GTFO, and we've got the crazy driving tiger and all that on the road, and we have the fuck sun. All right, there we are. So we have Silent Dawn driving home and the sun and killing the roadkill because that roadkill wasn't on the Grumpystream. And the title of this piece should be Should Have Remembered, yo. Remembered. Yo. And I'll underline that so you remember. Tien long la. And hopefully this serves as a good reminder. There you are. Should have remembered, yo, just for you, Silent Dawn. And that bottle cap rolled around my desk very sort of subtly there. Alright, now I think that is it for the Patreon drawings for the evening, as I have not received requests, I don't believe, from any of my other qualifying patrons. So I believe that is it for the drawings for now. So in that case, I will turn the webcam back this way towards the couch. Turn it up a little bit so that you can see. Ah, there we are. That's a little bit better. And I shall move these drawings out of the way, and those drawings will go out to all of my patrons sometime after Anthrocon, hopefully. Unfortunately, I don't have time before Anthrocon to go out and mail those drawings to my patrons, but we shall do our best to see to such after the convention. All right, then. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, now a Celestial really feels like a limp noodle. All right, then. Let's see. What do you youngsters have to say? BT Werewolf says, Tien, be drunk, drink, and no art needed. Well, I can drink to that certainly, as I have completed such art tasks that I am obligated, as those people do pay and make the stream happen. It does not cost, it is not cheap for me to operate the stream, what with having to provide the equipment and all of the energy and resources and the fuel that it needs to run the stream. So those patrons do help make it happen. So I must obligate myself to them. And QDK is retiring for the night. QDK, I was very happy to see you attending my stream for, I believe, your very first time, and I shall see you next week in Pittsburgh, my good friend. See you there, and have yourself a wonderful evening. Yes, and speaking of Anthrocon, to be quite honest, a dragon, a celestial dragon here, is not quite ready for the convention myself. It might get easier in terms of packing and all of that sort of stuff, but it's not easy physically making that drive. For me, it is a 6-hour trip in a tightly fitted box with no breathing space from up here in Toronto, Canada. It is absolutely unbearable, and every single year I've got to take it, and then when I get there, it's all like, ugh, it's My back hurts, and I am sleepy, and I am sober, and I have to do this convention. So this night can pretty much be considered a night for me to sort of just wind down and prepare myself mentally as well as somewhat physically for the upcoming convention. So I am glad to have all of you here helping me along in such sort of exercise. Mighty might ask, so what are you drinking on Tien? I'm not sure what I am drinking on. I am drinking, I guess, on a couch. I am drinking on this very sturdy couch. Yes, this most definitely sturdy couch. This is more comfortable than I really should be allowed to sit on because I might just turn into a French dragon. Ah. Yes, and Volt says, let's just hope it is not like MFF last year where you got sick. Yes, very much correct. And it was actually the same for my big brother as well last year at Anthrocon. He had unfortunately caught some sort of bug early on and was unable to enjoy a good portion of the convention, although he did his best to. So this year, he and I are making sure that we take extra precaution in order to prevent that from happening. And, well, help him along, whether it's with his sleeping schedule being changed by 12 hours, or providing him with extra supplements so that he doesn't catch any of the dreaded con crud. Well, basically, we want to make sure that everyone has a good time. Drazhenga asks Tien, explain how do you fly without wings? Well, Drazhenga, excuse me a moment, I have to turn my fan. I've got my biggest fan here blowing me, of course. It's how a celestial dragon chills out, especially in Australia. Anyhow, dragons fly, eastern dragons in particular, we are able to fly because we have an innate relationship with the air currents that run throughout our globe, or at least your globe, I should say. So our flying in the air is actually our ability to control air currents and using such air currents to lift ourselves up into the sky where there's more breeze and there's more flow of wind. It's basically like a highway in the skies. And our bodies, the way that they are shaped, are able to adapt and maneuver and control themselves in those highways in the skies made of entirely air currents. The other way that dragons are able to fly is after a few solid drinks, you tell your best buddy, here, hold my beer, and then you jump off of a balcony. Usually that way doesn't end up well. And Rabbit Hyena asks, Tien, you can summon lightning, right? Are you Raiden, God of Thunder? I am not Raiden, God of Thunder. I am Tianlong. It's plain and simple. I am Tianlong, the God of the Skies. Now, I cannot summon lightning, but I can summon the systems in the skies which make lightning occur very, very quickly. Very easy for me, especially when I need to scare a certain wine thief. Actually, he had been experiencing that last night as well. Apparently, there were some thunderstorms happening in his area, and he had been messaging me online saying, oh, Qianlong, please, I do not know what I have done to anger you, and I would very much appreciate if you would not send any thunderstorms my way because they are scaring me, and I will give you back all the wine that I stole from you. And I said to myself, so he did admit he stole all my wine, did he now? Let's see. And Altorius says, yes, I need to brush up on my wind-bending skills. No, Altorius, you do not need to be like the Avatar. But you do need to learn to understand the ways of an Eastern dragon. It will come to you naturally the more that you just let it happen. Again, humility is part of the key. Just humble yourself and let it naturally find you. It is not something that you force yourself to learn. It is something that you simply learn when it is the right time. And Tetris Wolf says, Tianlong French Celestial Dragoach that likes ham. That is pretty much the summation of this entire Grumpy stream right now. I got nothing. I can't say anything against that because that is pretty much correct. I mean, there were a few instances last year where I almost felt myself being controlled by another entity outside of my own body. It was as if I was doing the bidding of a wine thief. And that was at several conventions as well. That was at Motor City FurCon. That happened at Great Lakes FurCon last year, and it even happened at Anthrocon, I believe. That's not Anthrocon. It was not a con that he and I had frequented. But yes, even sometimes he does have this tendency to be just be harm himself. And my teammate asks, do I like rock and roll music? I do not like rock and roll, unfortunately. Not my type of thing. The type of music that I like can be heard in the introduction of the wine stream. Not the wine stream, the Grumpy stream. The wine stream has a very pleasant soundtrack as well, but I personally prefer the Grumpy stream. It suits a celestial dragon much better. Bruzo Dragonia says, where is that wine thief Uncle Kage? Uncle Kage has already left for the evening. As much as I would like him to stay and attend the show, he has a convention to run in just a few days' time and is terribly busy, so I would not obligate him to stay in the stream for very long. Ban asks, does Tianlong have any celestial words of wisdom for fellow dragons? Well, but in light of the recent events that have happened that have shocked the world of politics, and I'm sure many of you know exactly what I am referring to, my word of wisdom is very, very simple if you were to ask of it, is to open your eyes and see the world for all that it really is, rather than seeing the world for what you want it to be. The reason I say that is people these days are just utterly blinded by their own prejudices and their own beliefs and give absolutely no room for the rest of the world in their lives. And look what had happened. The shock waves that rippled and rocked the entire world from what had happened on Thursday. All I would say to people is open your eyes and see the bigger picture. Take a step outside of your own body and see the world as the world really is. But as I mentioned earlier in the stream, I do not involve myself with human politics. It is not a fun topic, nor is it a topic that I really care about. So, we shall go back to things that are more relevant, such as Anthrocon or French dragons, or what I am drinking, which is this lovely Tentaka, which is, well, almost empty right now. I'm tempted to just stick with this bottle because, again, this stream is going to be a tad bit shorter than the others, owing to the fact that I still have plenty to do before the convention in a few days' time, and unfortunately I must prepare as best as I can for it. Sharp asks, is your human having trouble getting all your wine packed for the Anthrocon trip? Funny enough, you should mention that, Sharp. He actually is finding a more difficult time getting enough wine for the Anthrocon trip. The only thing that helps with that would be the fact that there's more good sake selections happening right now at the local liquor store. So that is one saving grace. But unfortunately, that doesn't mean it's any easier to get, because sake and other wines that I enjoy, they cost lots of shiny golden coins, and lots of shiny golden coins, well, they're hard to come by for old dragons, which is why this Patreon also helps. That Patreon helps again to provide the fuel for the Grumpy stream, but it is not used exclusively for it, fear not. I am not so much of a drunkard as to grab all of that patronage from all of my loyal fans and my supporters and use it just to drink myself into a stupor. Of course not. Ugh. French Dragons asks Firewing. Firewing, you were clearly not here for the beginning when I explained it. I have my lovely here, this lovely French dragon painting. It's not really a French dragon, but he's almost painted like one of my French girls, and I had adopted the same pose earlier, something close to what I am doing now. And apparently it was like I was being painted like one of your French girls, as the saying goes. Showan asks, Tien, will you be giving out any dye this year at Anthrocon? Why not approach me at the convention and find out? Mighty Might is leaving for the night. Thank you, Mighty Might, for attending the show. It was a pleasure to see you once again, and I hope you have a pleasant evening. Eagle Beagle, bark or chirp? I prefer bark. Bark comes from puppies and dogs and puppies are very adorable. I prefer them over chirps. Nothing against the birds, of course, but I believe that barks are a little bit more friendlier. I like them better as well. Sometimes I am tasked, or rather my human counterpart is tasked to take care of a small little chihuahua, a teacup chihuahua mixed with a little bit of Jack Russell inside it. And she's got the most adorable name. Her name is Tequila the Chihuahua. A very fitting name for such a tiny dog with a spunky attitude, I must say. Bane says Tien should give out actual dye at AC. Well, you see, I would give out actual dye at AC, but then all the D&D players at the convention would be angry at me because they have nothing to roll with. It is what it is. Yes, and it's a noodle dragon. Yay, it's a noodle dragon indeed, Quipper. I don't know what else you are seeing, but here is a noodle dragon. Drazhenga asks, where is your human helmet, Tien? Most definitely not in the closet of bodies over there, after he had failed me for the 1,000th time. Richie Wilkes asks, if I had $375 million, what would I do with it? I would, first of all, never have to go out and get my own Sakis for the rest of my life, and number two, that is a very good question. I'm not quite sure what I would do with $375 million. But again, I would not get my own Sakis for the entirety rest of my life. That would be for sure. That's for a start. Sharp says, Tien, I cannot wait to see you at the con next week. I hope I get a photo with you and your brother if he is going to. I believe that you would be able to find me at the convention. I shall be there. And my big brother will also be there as well. Please do not be afraid to approach us and take a photo with us. We might appear initially grumpy, but then again, over the years, it seems that the youngsters have ignored that completely, and we're just adorable to them. There's no point trying to be grumpy, although I still keep it up. Savvy Wolf Husky asks, how are you tonight, Tien? Well, Savvy Wolf Husky, I am doing quite well right now with my Tentaka Tokubetsu Janmai Saki, the Hawk in the Heavens Saki. It is a very, very well-tasting, well-rounded, and very smooth sake. I am thoroughly enjoying this right now. Good stuff, good stuff. Oh, and one of the drawings fell down. Oh, my goodness, man. And Silver Gatomon says, I really got to go to AC some year. Silver Gatomon, if you have already been to a furry convention in the past, then AC would definitely be a nice experience. But for many first-timers at conventions, for those of you that have never been to conventions attending this stream, Anthrocon, it is a good experience for a convention, but I wouldn't say it's a good first experience. Anthrocon is something that you sort of build up to. My advice would be to, if you haven't had much time interacting with furry social events, to start out with a meet, and then start out with a local convention, and then after that, Anthrocon. Anthrocon at times, in my opinion, can be quite overwhelming, especially if you don't know the sort of an already existing base of friends or people there. But if you are familiar with the furry social events and meets and cons, then Anthrocon is most definitely an experience you need to try. And Silver Gatomon says this year's IFC will be my 8th con. I shall be at IFC, as I've said earlier. IFC is a convention that I seem to frequent now, so I will be there. And I especially adore that wall, that literal wall of wine that they have over there. Very fitting, especially for one such as myself. Drazhenga asks, which cons will you be attending this year? Well, I've already attended a few conventions. I've attended Fernal Equinox, I've attended Motor City FurCon, I've attended Confuzzled. The next one shall be next week, Anthrocon. I shall be at Indie FurCon in August as well. And at the moment, I am simply pondering a trip to Midwest Furfest. I am not sure if I shall be at Midwest Furfest. I would dearly like to be, but we'll see how it works out for an old celestial dragon. Richie Walks would, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but Walks. Well, Richie, I'll call you Richie. Tips for going to a convention for the first time. Well, 621 again is the most important and crucial tip. I will let someone else reiterate that if you don't know what that means. But 621 is the most important tip. But in terms of enjoying yourself at the convention, what you must realize about conventions, especially big conventions, is that if you try to do everything at once, you will not be able to. You will utterly miss out on at least 90% of the things you plan to, and if you plan it that way, you are most likely not going to have a good time. So what you must understand about conventions is have a good solid plan for them. If you're going to conventions and you have no idea what to do, there's always paneling available happening all convention time long. So you can plan out a series of panels that you'd like to attend or at least drop into. Or if you have a friend that you know will be at the convention, make sure that you keep contact with that friend and perhaps see if you can hang out a little bit. Or even go to social events such as meetups for species or meetups for certain age groups. And there you can interact with more people. But my advice for having a good time at the convention is don't plan for everything at the convention. Let yourself be a little more open, a little more sort of spontaneous. I think, in my experience in that case, you'll have a little bit of a better time yourself. But for those of you that are not as comfortable socializing, well, if you want to have a good time at a convention, you've got to try. You've got to try and break out of that sort of anxiety or nervousness you have to socialize, and just simply go for it. Furries are harmless, we are friendly, we are not going to instantly scream and shout and throw things at you and say, "Get away from me, you demonic antisocial beast!" We are a very friendly crowd. Don't be afraid to approach us. Let's see what else. I see there's a lot of chatter going on about FurCham and HCFC and some other things as well. Yes, there's now a plethora of convention versus 20 years ago when there were, maybe a handful, and even before that, 25 years ago, when there were only 2 conventions at that time 25 years ago. Actually, 1 convention, I would say, 25 years ago. An old-timer such as myself headed to conventions. You'll find that when you do go to conventions, after your first one, the rest are the exact same. They're the exact same processes. You go there, you register, you go to your hotel room or you find your friends, or you go to that first panel that you planned out, and from then on, the convention sort of happens by itself. You don't need to do excessive planning for a convention. The only time you need to do that sort of excessive planning is if you're running the convention, like Uncle Kage. But other than that, I think that conventions are better suited for more spontaneous and carefree sort of interactions. Those ones, in my opinion, are the best. Hmm. Ah. Trashenga asks, what should you do if it's your first time to a convention? Make a friend. The first thing that you should do is make a friend. And it's very easy to make a friend at a convention. You simply go to a convention panel labeled so it's your first time at a convention. Most furries conventions have this sort of panel for those that are there for the very first time and don't know what's going on. Or again, as I said, there are many socials that happen. Go to a social and see who you can meet, strike up a friendly conversation, and it's very easy to make friends again. We are a very friendly community. And friends in this community, they do go a long way if you have them. They are a source of infinite amount of laughter and good companionship as well. And from time to time, some free drinks. Well, if you're lucky enough, that is. I certainly am not, sadly. Sharp the Hybrid asks, Tien, what is your favorite cartoon show? Oh, that would be very hard for me to pick. I have many that I have used to watch. My favorite, I believe, right now that does top the list, as well as the one I've most recently seen, would be TMNT. The original 1987 TMNT, not that bull crap they've got on the TV right now. The original one with the original Master Splinter. Master Splinter and I, we are good acquaintances, and I do approve of his strict but gentle teachings to his younger disciples. Master Splinter, I look up to him quite a lot. He is one of my idols. Let's see. Yes, a meet and greet, Silver Gatomon, that's a very good point as well. There are several meet and greets. One of the most popular ones is a fursuit meet and greet at conventions. A fursuit meet and greet, which is simply fursuiters gathering in one room and you get to meet them. That's literally all it is. And fursuiters meet fursuiters, non-fursuiters meet fursuiters. It is basically a good way to get to break the ice, so to say, and get to know a few friends. Rabbit Hyena says, what are your thoughts on the new Toho Godzilla movie, or Gojira movie as I would say? I think it has a lot of potential. I like the rendering that I saw in the trailer, but we'll see what happens. We'll see. I'm not inclined to get my hopes up just yet, but it's got potential. Uh, let's let's see how much I've got left in this bottle. I've got just a little bit more in this bottle left. And it seems that it is sort of getting to the 3-hour mark, and I did say that I would end the show a little bit earlier than usual. My apologies to all my fans, but again, it is a busy season for both a dragon and a wine thief, and both of us do have our duties to attend to, and we cannot forego those duties just to sit around and drink, even if we have good company. So I'll take another sip of this, and we'll see how fast I work this down, and after that, we shall adjourn the Grumpy Stream for now. And, well, you can enjoy your Saturday evenings. Ah, that is good. Volt brings up a point about if you are nervous about being around suitors, stay with a friend so that they can sort of assist or mediate such interactions. It is rare to see, but there are those that are afraid of interacting with fursuiters, whether for personal reasons or otherwise. It is very rare to see, in my opinion, but it does happen. And as such, fursuiters have to learn how to respect that. Not all people want hugs. Not all people are into you squeaking incessantly in their faces. But, of course, we are a community that is very open and very willing, and we have a lot of space for tolerance. So, fear not. As long as you're making an effort to interact or integrate yourself with the community, you'll do fine. Yes, and Bond did point out that the straw has no further purpose and finished itself. Yes, no one saw what happened with that straw just now. Yes, nothing happened whatsoever. Nothing at all. Ah. And it seems that my tea for the third time is departing from the stream. I don't know if this is a ruse of some sort or if this is simply just, not being able to sleep, some sort of insomniac disorder, but thank you once again, Mighty, for the third time for joining the stream, and I hope you finally are able to find some peace and quiet in that mind of yours so that you may get a good night's rest. Uh, Silent Dawn asks, Tien, is your pink butt nose hard or soft? Silent Dawn, you should know better than asking those kind of questions. If you must know, it is hard. Although that's not really the only hard quality about me. Anyhow, yes, no wine thief here. Always all right. Always all right. Sharp is asking, what are you moving your arms around for? Absolutely nothing. I don't know what you were seeing or what you were thinking, but get your mind out of the gutter, you. Seems I have one more sip left in this bottle, so if there are any last questions for Celestial Dragon or things that I can talk about, please indulge me right now as I take this last sip. And Greek Yoshi wants me to glomp that pillow. Well, if you insist on it, all right. There, I am hugging a pillow. You youngsters are absolutely incorrigible. Why am I hugging a pillow? Away with you, pillow. Would you rather drown on burn? That's sort of a paradox in itself, is it not? Drown on burn. I can't really picture myself drowning on burning, but alright, well, we'll see how it is. Firewing asks, are you generally approachable? I try to be. I am naturally grumpy or irritated or something like that. Most youngsters laugh it off and they see it as funny or cute or something to that equivalent. Well, I guess I am approachable. Drazhenga asks me to dance. Drazhenga, I shall not dance now. I shall be dancing next week. I am saving my back strength for next week during the Masquerade at Anthrocon, which I plan to be at. And for those of you that cannot attend Anthrocon, there is a live stream that is available to view. If you go to Anthrocon's website, they have more information there in the forums or on the front page, I believe. But there is a live stream for Anthrocon, and the Masquerade will be shown during that live stream. So just look on that page during Saturday at 9 p.m., I should say, for the live stream of the Masquerade, and you shall find the Celestial Dragon on stage there. And if you are so interested, the dance competition as well will be held on that same stage and on that same live stream on Sunday, the following day at 1 p.m. afternoon. And that will not be myself, that will be my human counterpart trying to be civilized and a professional noodle, as he likes to say. And Dragon Gromper 777 says that they're going to hop out. I'm not sure if dragons hop. Thanks for the stream 5 days from my birthday. Ah, well, you're very welcome. I wish you a very happy early birthday, and do enjoy yourself responsibly. Tien asks, Tien, who is grumpier, you or your brother? I would most definitely say my brother. People seem to say that I am more adorable, but for some reason my brother has this sort of more grumpier aura about him. I'm not sure why. I say I am the more grumpy one. What? It's true, big brother. You are always grumping and humping. Not humping. Grumping and huffing. Yes, grumping and huffing about your little brother constantly snugging you and drinking all your wine and stealing all your royal robes and yes. Anyhow, yes, I believe that my big brother is a tad bit grumpier than I am. Just a tad bit. And I say that again, just mainly because all the youngsters keep on calling me adorable. No, few youngsters have called my big brother adorable, but all the youngsters seem to call me adorable. It's absolutely unbearable. And Sharp asks, who is the cute one, Tien? I think I sort of answered that question just now. I need to pick up this bottle and see how much is left. Oh, there's half a sip. I actually rationed myself. On this sip. There's half a sip left in this bottle, which I shall take and answer any sort of final closing statements or questions. So here it is, the last sip of this lovely Tentaka Tokubetsu Janmai. Cheers to you all, by the way, Ganbei. I hope you are not all already falling down drunk and out of your minds and whatnot. I would not like to be responsible for such things. And that is the Tentaka Tokubetsu Janmai Sake complete. Let's see. Shiver says if you want yellow, you'd better fit a grumpy persona. Yellow seems to make you stand out. Well, I can't help it. I am a Chinese dragon. Remember, we're just naturally yellow, right? So I didn't choose it. You can't play the hate. You can't hate the player. You can hate the game. And can I ask a favor for a B-Day message shout-out? Turning 26 years, so yes to the young noodle. You are an infant noodle, I tell you, but happy early birthday to you as well. Perhaps, hopefully soon, you'll be able to find that path of humility and dedication towards becoming a true noodle. But Firewing says, do you mind hugs, Tien? Well, again, the youngsters, as ferocious as I may pass myself off as, the youngsters don't seem to care whatsoever. They sort of just like, look, it's a fursuit, hug, yes, hug, and I'm all like, what is this species of... So apparently my dragonness or my grumpiness or my drunkenness does not seem to deter any of these youngsters. So I guess it doesn't really matter whether I mind or not. Silvergatomon says I should get a bottle of sake to give Tien at IFC. Silvergatomon, I quite approve of this idea. I would very much support such an endeavor of yours. Yes, and Snowcat says, at least I'd ask before hugging you, Tien. I almost said I'd hug before asking. It's always polite. It is very much always polite, especially for fursuiters. Some of them might not be as comfortable as others getting hugs, whether it's because their fursuits are more delicate, or whether they just don't like hugs in general. It is always polite to ask for a hug before receiving one. And Shiva says, I promise one day to visit North America just to get a photo with you, maybe even get a nice bottle of sake. I would be very much honored if you would do me that honor. Yes, I would very much be honored if you would do me that honor. Yes, of course, of course, of course. I am just simply an old dragon after all, who drinks a little bit too much and speaks way more than that as well. Speaks way too much, I should say. But yes, it is currently 8:46 p.m. It's about 2 hours and 46 minutes so far, and for the past few streams I've usually booked about 3 hours into the streams, so this does sort of qualify as a little bit early, but again, unfortunately, as a busy dragon at Anthrocon, I do have duties to attend to. But nevertheless, I do hope that you enjoyed this stream that I provided tonight, especially for those of you that chose to or elected to miss out on whatever Saturday evening plans you had just to keep an old dragon company. So for that, I thank each and every one of you for joining me in this edition of the Grumpystream, June 25th of 2016. My name is Tien, the god of the skies, the ever-irritable, old, perverted, drunken dragon, and, well, I am signing off here, but I am not signing off from, well, I am not signing off just quite yet from this community, for I shall be at Anthrocon, the largest furry convention in the world, and I hope to see each and every one of you there. Again, if you are at Anthrocon, please do not feel afraid to come up to a celestial dragon and greet me, take a photo with me, even give me a hug well, of course, should I accept one. All you need to do is ask. But until then, for those of you that I shall see at Anthrocon, and for those that I shall see perhaps a little later in the future, I wish you all safe travels wherever you go, and I shall see you again very soon.